Hi, okay, welcome to this session on pie charts. I haven't done a recap. I don't generally do them after a consolidation because they're quite intense as it is. And we've had a good old go at everything that we've done recently. So we just take a little breather. We'll do our new learning today, and then we'll get straight back onto those recaps next time. So yeah, pie charts. Pie charts are pretty much always in our GCSE, and they are an area that we easily lose. So I thought a session on this would be really useful. So first of all, I want to talk about the chart itself. Obviously, it's a circle, and a circle has 360 degrees in it. No more, no less. So no matter what's happening in the question, we only have exactly 360 degrees to work with, okay? So before we look at this table, I want to just remind you what a pie chart is actually doing. It's taking the 360 degrees and it is sharing the space in the circle with everybody in the story, okay? So it could be people were surveyed on their favorite books. People were surveyed on their favorite colors. People were surveyed on their favorite subject in school. People were surveyed. That's the key. People were surveyed. And every single person has to have a share of the pie. They have to have a section of that circle that belongs to them. So if 36 people, all right, if 36 people were surveyed, then 36 people have to fit into this pie chart. They all have to have an equal share. If there's exactly 360 degrees to share with 36 people, they are going to get 10 degrees each. So it's a bit of a small sliver, 10 degrees each. If I had 72 people, that's twice as many people. They've still only got 360 degrees to share. So they would have 5 degrees each. So they would have an even smaller chunk, if you like. I don't want to be drawing my pie chart based on the actual sections that individual people are going to get. I want to chunk it up so I've got less work to do. Imagine drawing 5 degrees out 72 times. You'd never do it, would you? So you just want to be able to take the chunk. So if I've got 10 people, I'm going to times up each individual person by 10 so that I can create a section for all of them in one go. And that's basically what a pie chart's all about, okay? So let's forget the kind of background information and go through those steps. So we're going to take the same order every single time. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to get my total, get the total number of people, okay, that have been surveyed. So in this question, you can see from the table that they've been surveyed probably on favorite colors. And if I add those up, I will get a total of 20 people. That's my first step. So step 1, get your total. Okay. I then take my circle of 360 degrees and I work out how many each individual gets. So 360 divided by 20 is going to give me 18 degrees. So step 2 is always 360 divided by whatever the total is. That's going to change whatever question's total is. That will create a change. And that is going to give me a number. So that's a number I don't know, but it's each person's section. That's what that step's doing. It's finding what each individual person should get of the pie chart. But remember, I don't want to be drawing out individual people, just a nice chunk for everybody that likes the same thing. Okay, so to do that, I take my answer up to the frequency, I have 6 people. So 6 times 18 is the angle size for yellow. Okay. And 6 times 18 is 108. So I would be measuring 180 degrees, and that would be the section for yellow. So step 3, okay, is you times by the frequency to get your total angle size. And you would do that every time. So I'm going to times all of these by 18. And that's going to give me 90 degrees, 126 degrees, and 36 degrees. And then I would go on and I would draw the actual pie chart itself. Now, that's a very difficult thing for me to model over this style of learning, which is a bit of a shame. I've done my best to talk you through, whoops, we don't want to go that high, to talk you through what's happening. So in the exam, you will always be given a starting point. So you will get the circle and you will get this first kind of line. All right, that's the line that we need in order to draw that first section. So over here is a demo of where you would place your protractor. So the protractor is obviously going right on that center point, and the line on the protractor that takes you to 0 is completely covering this line. I cover it over the top so I can't see it. I will then mark out 108 in this case, and I would draw in that line. And you can see from the second picture that I've labeled that section yellow. I've put in the degrees. I've done it as I go so that I don't get confused at the end which section belongs to which bit of the table. Now, this is really important. You will see that the protractor is now lined up on the new line that was drawn. So that was the new line that was drawn. And you can't see it very easily because my protractor is covered over the top. Line up exactly over it, that's 0, then measure round. I'm drawing a 90-degree angle, mark it on, and then use the new line to draw the next section, and so on. So hopefully that's useful. We, for the duration of this session, are just going to be looking at how we find those missing angles. If you've got a protractor and a compass and you want to be drawing them as well, then obviously please do. But you're not going to be able to even start the drawing process if you haven't got that mathematical steps in place to start off with. So we'll focus ourselves there. So let's do another question. If you're all ready to have a go, then please hit that pause button and do this yourself. If you are thinking, I'd quite like to see that one more time, then obviously let this run through and I will talk you through this one. Okay, first step, get that total. So you add those together and you would work out that that is 90, all right? You then do 360 divided by the 90, which is going to give you 4. That tells you the number of degrees every single individual person is going to have. The space that they get in the pie chart is 4 degrees. And you use the 4 to multiply each category with the number of people in it so that you can get that total. All right. So I'm going to be doing 112. 128, we've got 56 and 64 degrees. So those would be the angle sizes that I measure. And actually, when you see this without all the extra conversation, without the steps being written out, it's actually a lot easier than it first looks. It's just 3 things. Get your total, divide it into 360, and times that answer through by the numbers in the table. That's it. All right, have another go. Do this question for me. Okay, so we have a total of 45. 360 divided by 45 is 8. So we're going to times all of these by 8, which is going to give me 80. 144, remember, these are degrees, 120 degrees, and 16 degrees. And those will be the sections that I draw. All right, we've got one more, just to make absolutely sure we are super happy and confident. Okay, so pause and hit play when you're ready. Okay, so my total is 32. 360 divided by 32 is 11.25. Now, when you get a decimal result like this, it can panic people. They think something's going to go wrong. Again, I say it all the time. You've got to trust your method. Obviously, you double check you've put things right in the calculator. Little thing, if you suddenly think, oh, something doesn't feel right, then go check everything. But if everything works out fine and you get that same result, then you've got to trust your method is going to do the job for you. So don't be put off by that decimal. So I'm going to times it on the outside in case I can't squeeze it in. I don't want it to look too squashed. So obviously I'm going to times everything by 11.25 this time. And I'm going to get 135 degrees, 180 degrees, and 45 degrees. So it worked out fine in the end, didn't it? All right, hopefully you weren't put off by that and you just confidently went through and did that okay. All right, so that is how you go about finding the angle sizes to draw for a pie chart. However, you can also be asked questions like this. And these are not always answered very well. So we definitely need to look at this. And the good news is we already have a method up our sleeve that works brilliantly. And I mean brilliantly here. And it's boxes and labels. Boxes and labels can be used in some amazing places where you wouldn't expect to see it. It's absolutely brilliant. And as you work through the courses, it comes up in grade 4, it comes up in grade 5, it literally comes up all over the place. It's fantastic. And we're going to use it here. It's going to solve all our problems. So let's look at it. We've been given the pie chart. We're not drawing it. We know the sections. We know the number of degrees in each section. And there'll be some blurb, there'll be some story as well. So 90 people choose blue as their favorite color. So now, just from reading that, I can put that information into my chart, which is always a really good idea. If you've got information in a story and a diagram, try and get them together so that you can see things clearly. So I've got 90 people in my blue section. They're asking me how many people were surveyed. That's like my first problem, okay? Now, this doesn't stand out as boxes and labels straight away, but there is a clue, there is a good hint, and that is here. I have a matching pair. When I've got a fact that pair up like that, they fit into the boxes and labels at the top. So that's my first hint that this could be boxes and labels. So I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to put in that 90 people, so I'll put P here, take up 60 degrees in my pie chart. That's a fact. Now, sometimes I see a pairing, I think, oh, is it boxes and labels? I give it a go, and I can't quite make it work. That's fine. That's problem solving. Here we can make it work because we know that in a circle, there are a total of 360 degrees. So I actually do have a third piece of information that can go into this grid in the degrees column. And that is the total 360. If my total 360 degrees is here, then the total number of people would be here. So now I can just set it up, knowing the rules of boxes and labels. 60 is going on the bottom, that's the track number. I can put these in any order I like. I can throw that in the calculator and it will give me 540. And if, to be honest, that one is something that you could do without a calculator fairly easily as well, because 360 divided by 60, might as well show this. Obviously, they cancel off, dividing by 10. 6s into 36 go 6. So you end up with 6 times 90, and then 6 times 9 is 54, add the 0. So you can do this without a calculator as well, which is really good. If the numbers are more complicated, you're going to see this on a calculator paper anyway. But if it comes up on non-calc, the numbers are usually fairly nice. So that's using boxes and labels to find out how many people were surveyed. We've also got this question, how many people chose green? Well, we can do the exact same thing because, again, we've got those 3 pieces of information. So I know that 90 people chose the blue, and that is paired up with the 60 degrees. So I use that same fact. And this time it's how many people chose green. Well, if I go over to the green section, I can see 84 degrees. I've got some information about the degrees here. So I absolutely have 3 pieces of information. You know, that's one of the other indicators for boxes and labels. If you've got 3 pieces of information and you need a 4th, boxes and labels, 9 times out of 10 is going to do this for you. So I can put 84 in this section here, and then using the rules again, I've got 60, 84, and I'm going to times 3 by 90. Remember, you can put those the other way round. It's only this that's absolutely essential to get right. So that division is the track number in the corner. Check that in my calculator, and I've got 126 people. So when you're interpreting pie charts, you use boxes and labels. It's going to do it for you. So let's see that again. Now, this time, I want you to hit that pause button and just have a go. Just see how far you can get with this and then hit play. All right, so I've got 240 people were asked how they were traveled to work. How many traveled by car? So 240 people are the total number in my pie chart. So I've got 240 people taking up 360 degrees. How many people traveled by car? Well, I can see that that is 84 degrees. So 360 is the track number. Set the rest of it up in the normal way, and then straight in the calculator with this. And I've got 56 people. So if you got that right, really well done. That 360 degree total is obviously invisible, isn't it? It's not in the question. So we do have to recall that fact in order for it all to fit together in that boxes and labels. Okay, so let's do this one. Press play when you're ready. Okay, so I've got 165 people travel to work by train. So I've got 165 people in that section there. And they want to know how many people traveled by bus. All right, I've got the right angle, so I know that's 90 degrees. I've got 3 pieces of information. So that one's a bit easier for us to see. So I've got 165 people taking up 90 degrees. I want to know how many people are in the section with 132 degrees. 90's trapped. So let's set all of that up. And that is going to give me, when I put that in the calculator, 242. So that's the answer to the first part. Let's just move that up there out of the way, where we can still see it. There we go. How many people were surveyed? I'm going to use the same fact because obviously that came from the question. So it can't be anything to do with me. Can't be wrong at all. So I've got my 165 people at 90 degrees. How many people were surveyed? That's everybody in the pie chart. That's all 360 degrees. So I'm going to have 90 is my trapped number, timesing that through. and that would give me 660 people. All right, so that's drawing and interpreting pie charts covered. What you're going to do now is have a go at those questions for me, and then you will mark. Hopefully everything will be perfect, and I will see you next session.